Welcome to another episode of Roll or Die. Today's guest is coming to you from Adelaide. There is a thriving Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu scene in Adelaide, and we are looking forward to getting to know today's guest. He is a recently promoted first-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's the owner and head coach of Toa Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He is Alex Lanyon. Thanks for joining us, Alex.
Thanks for having me, Ken. Thanks for having me, Brentos.
Great to have you here, Alex. Thanks for jumping on. Can you just really quickly, mate, give us a rundown on Toa and where you got the name and all that sort of stuff, mate? Tell us a bit about your club.
Yeah, sure. So I actually started it because I'm up in the hills. I'm not really in Adelaide. I'm in the Adelaide hills, and I sort of moved up here when I had a back injury. So I wasn't training at the time, and then when I was all good and I wanted to train again, it was sort of like 4 hours to get a couple of hours training in a night to drive down into Adelaide. I was like, that's not really working. I'll start a club. And that was my solution. So that's where it came from. Toa means brave in Maori. And that was just, I was just like, what will I call it? One of my cousins was like, why don't you just call it Toa? I was like, yeah, cool. That sounds good. And
you're from New Zealand originally?
Yeah. So we started off just like literally one student renting out a church hall with some puzzle mats, and then realized pretty quickly I was a purple belt at the time, and my jiu-jitsu was all right for my level, right? And I was like, oh, this will be easy. Realized immediately that I had no idea how to teach someone anything. I was like, yeah, okay, there's a big difference between teaching and actually like knowing jiu-jitsu and being able to teach someone else. So honestly, it probably took me like a couple of years even before I was like, sort of thought that I was teaching well. That was hard for me. And I was not prepared at all. So yeah, but that was fun. And now we've just moved. So we've got like, we were out of I leased a place quite a while ago. And we were there for almost 9 years, which was sort of like 100 square meters. And we just leased and moved to a new location, which is like 300 square meters, like 230 square meters of mats. So way back, like an actual training facility, right? I was like, oh, cool. We can actually train. I can hang the boxing bags up, So yeah, that's Toa, basically.
What sort of things did you do, Alex, to, improve your teaching skills, or from where you recognised like you had a gap between how you were teaching and how you wanted to teach? What sort of things did you do?
Heaps. So there was like two big things with my like learning how to teach. One was just like learning how to teach adults, because I started off, I only really wanted to teach adults. Didn't really have much interest in teaching kids or anything. But I just remember, like, I would talk to a lot of teachers, like actual teachers. I knew some psychiatrists from when I was over in London. So, like, they were actually really better for the kids. Like, they were like, gave me heaps of pointers for teaching kids. But really, it was just like a lot of watching people talk about technique, a lot of thinking about how my coaches talked about technique. It was just that thing of like I remember the first technique I taught. My first student's name was Charlie, and I was sort of like, oh, I'll just teach you a really simple pass. It's a knee slide pass. And I was just about to start passing, and I was like, the 14th thing you do is, and I was just like, oh, wait, that's not simple, is it? And he was just like, eyes were big, and he was just like, I was like, okay. And that was when I did the thing of like, okay, well, what are the three most important things, or like two or three most important things of the technique? Let's start with that.
You lost me after step 3, mate. Can we go back?
Yeah, right. We hadn't even started the pass. I was talking about like how I like cover the toes with my fingers and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Just like minute things. And I was just like, oh yeah, okay, that's not how you do
Hey,
Yeah,
I wonder how many good things of like jiu-jitsu places, the jiu-jitsu gyms have come out of churches, like, because I know quite a few who have started in churches, so
yeah,
it's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool grounding experience, eh?
yeah. It was just one of those things where I was like, I need a hall to train out of. Run around
Yeah,
to a few, and they were just sort of really good about it. They were like, "Oh, you can hire. This is the hourly rate." But because the time slot was like, it was a 6 p.m. time slot, and they were just like, no one. There's not enough time for people to hire after, so you can actually just for
yeah.
the hourly rate, you can be in there for as long as you want. So we'd train for like 2
Oh,
hours sometimes, and they'd just be like, yeah, $35 or something. I was like, cool,
perfect.
yeah, yeah.
Where
And
did
then
your jiu-jitsu start, Alex? So you opened your training really when you were purple belt, but where did your jiu-jitsu actually start? Where did that start for you?
2011, I actually had to refresh this because my chronology is terrible. So before I came on here, I was like, I gotta like when did I actually start? I was like, they're definitely gonna ask me. There was 2011, might have been like late 2010. I was 28 and started up in Darwin. I just got back from London to Darwin or to Australia, and I stopped in at Darwin to see my brother who was up there. Um, and he was just sort of like, "Hey, let's go and try this jiu-jitsu stuff." And I was like, yeah, sure. Sounds cool. Um, and like immediately that was it. I just fell in love with it. We started off with like actually a karate gym where they did grappling, and then pretty quickly found like actual jiu-jitsu gym after that. I was like, oh, this is cool. Let me drop into an actual jiu-jitsu gym. That was Peter Devine up in Darwin at the time. It was
Wow.
uh, four man, were they purple belts? Yeah. Like they started as it was just 4 white belts, and they were like, "We love jujitsu. We'll start a gym." And I think they were purple belts by the time I rocked up, and just like that was the Wild West. That was crazy. It was like white belts just throwing heel hooks at each other because they'd seen it on YouTube and stuff. You know what I mean? It was just like flying arm bars and things. It was just like and like the most white belt way of doing it as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I survived, which is probably pretty good. I'm surprised we all survived that. It was
Alex,
good.
is that where Dave Nickel is now coaching? There,
What's that? Sorry.
is that where Dave Nickel now coaches? That's I think
Yeah, that's right. They sort of split.
there's been a
So
bit of a split in
Dave
Darwin.
started
Yeah,
a club, and
yeah.
then because he wasn't the coach at the time, he came up after I got there, and he was a brown belt. So he was. I can't remember if the other guys were blue belts when I started, or if they'd already got their purple belts. But yeah, so he was the highest ranked guy for a while, and then another brown belt named Matt Chick turned up, um, and then Angus Friend turned up. He was like the first black belt that I ever rolled with. That was really good. Like he wasn't really up there to teach or anything. He was just up there to work, and he just wanted to come in and roll. And me and my brother were just like, "Yep, let's roll." So I learned a lot of my jiu-jitsu, I would say, at that early part. I took a lot off Angus Friend when I was a white belt, just like,
Angus,
not...
if you're listening, I've tried to get Angus to come on the show a couple of times, but can't convince him because
He
I
won't
didn't
do
know,
it?
Alex, that you and I have such similarities because I started at Peter Devine as well here in Melbourne.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
we've actually got quite similar paths. I wasn't aware.
Yeah. Did you start at the HQ then, or?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got my blue
Yeah,
and my purple at Devine, and then my brown and
yeah,
my black at Absolute under Tiago.
yeah, yeah, fair enough. Oh, yeah, congrats on the world bronze, Kim. Nice work.
Thank you. And Brento's got a silver, so yeah, he's actually done
Oh,
one
did
better
you?
than me. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
shit, let's go. Yeah, nice. Awesome.
we both want to go back for the gold though. Hey, we want that top spot.
For
So
sure,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, go on.
Are you a competitor as well, Alex? Is competing something you've kind of gone down that path?
Oh, so yeah, I started competing almost immediately. I think it was like not really almost immediately. It was like 9 months before I did my first comp. There wasn't many comps up in Darwin, so it was nationals. And I think I went 3 gold. I did 3 divs, went 3 gold, and just fell in love with it. I was just like, oh, that was awesome.
Just to interrupt you, Alex, I think I mentioned this to a couple of people, but the Nationals, or what used to be known as the Oz Cup, it used to travel around Australia in each city. So the aim was to grow jiu-jitsu. So there was a year that it was in Perth. Then the following year it was in Darwin. I remember when it was in Darwin, they made a big show of it. It was like on the waterfront.
Yeah.
And I think they even televised it on TV and stuff. It was sort of Darwin's chance to show Australia what they were about. It was amazing. I was there as well, Alex, I remember at the time. Yeah, sorry.
And that's actually where I first met Angus as well. He reffed my matches. And then he just ended up coming up to Darwin for work and ended up training with him. But yeah. So yeah, I competed until I was a blue belt. At blue belt, I got a pretty bad back injury. That's why I wasn't training when I came back to South Australia. I was sort of out for 3 years, actually. And during that 3 years, I got my purple belt from Matt Jones down in Adelaide, which was like, I was training maybe once every 2 months because my back was so cooked. And he gave me my purple belt. It sort of made it worse because I was like, oh, I got to like train hard and compete and like earn my purple belt now, and just my back just. But that was one of those. That was my first big injury sort of thing, where when you're just like, I'm young, I just train through whatever I want, like I'm invincible. That's what I was just like, I'll just keep training.
What it feels like to be young. That was yesterday. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. And it just didn't work. I was like, I ended up having to do like proper rehab, proper work, and like spend a lot of time on it to get it good. And then once I was good, that's when I started training again and realized I couldn't really go down, 4 hours a day to go down and get some training in Adelaide. And I was like, I can't do that. So I started Toa and just went from there. And the club's going great at the moment.
So your team, your Toa team, have you got competitors in that? And are you coaching kids now, or are you still like, I don't want to coach the kids?
No, we started pretty early on. I started coaching kids. Yeah. I just needed money, right? I just needed money to make the club run. So I was like, I guess I'll just start kids class and see how it goes. And I thought I was getting on the path to teaching pretty well. Like, I wasn't really like a good instructor yet or anything, or a good coach, but I was getting there and starting to learn. And then I started kids class. I was just like, oh man, this is like starting again from square one. Kids are hard to coach. I was just like, I can't even understand what they're saying half the time. So that was a whole new kettle. That was really hard. Like learning to teach kids. That's where I was like, I'd ring up other coaches because just stuff happens with kids because I'm not a parent. I don't have kids.
Yeah.
I have little cousins and stuff, but I don't really spend that much time around them. Like I'll see them at family events. I'm never really looking after them or anything. So it was just one of those ones where, like, I had no idea. Like the kids are doing all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know how to deal with that. Like, how do I actually make this class function properly? So that was like every class, calling a couple of teachers I know. Like I said, some psychiatrists helped me out a lot, like super knowledgeable coaches, other coaches, and just like, what do you do? For the real little kids, there's a guy, Alan Hartley, CCMA, he runs, and he's got like a kids confidence class, and he was straight up like here, let me send you some lesson plans of how I do the little kids. And I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. So yeah, super helpful. Like most people are heaps happy to help you, in the jiu-jitsu community in general, but like when it came to teaching, I was like lucky because
I think it's funny what happens when you actually ask for help, Alex. Like if you ask for help and you're like, hey, like I don't really quite know what I'm doing here, can I grab some help? the amount of people who are like, oh yeah, I'll help you. Like, I'll send you lesson plans, or I'll jump on a phone call with you. Like,
Yeah.
we always talk about asking for help's a really hard thing to do, but I think one of the things that a lot of people miss is people enjoy helping other people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, you get a lot in jiu-jitsu, right? It's like I have students come in and they're like, oh, I feel like I'm a burden and I'm like getting in everyone's way. It's like, nah, like everyone here is excited. Like if you ask them a question, they'll be excited to give you the answer and like help you defend. Like this is how you defend it. Like even if it's their best move, they'll be like, oh yeah, I do it all the time. This is how you defend it. And it's just like, sort of shooting yourself in the foot. A lot of people think that, but it's like really it just makes you better too, right? And I think in jiu-jitsu we like really understand that because I think in general people have that idea of like, oh, you can be a big fish in a small pond, or we can all just work together to get the best we can be, like so.
Passion, I think, in the jiu-jitsu community, like we all love it generally. Most people that do it really love it. They're all trying to bring all their friends along. They're always like talking about how amazing it is. So yeah, I think that's just the activity that we do. Alex, I wanted to go back to your back injury. Are you comfortable to talk a bit more about that? Like, was that jiu-jitsu related at all, or how did you stay motivated through that time to keep?
Well, I wasn't really competing during that time. I wasn't even trained. Like I literally took a year off of work, doing nothing. Like I was fairly crippled at the time. Like, if I went to work, if I went and worked, like I was landscaping at the time, and that's how I did it. Actually, it was just was doing really long days up in Darwin. Construction landscaping, so like a lot of concreting and stuff like that, and we're probably working like 10 hours a day, maybe a little bit more, and then I'd just go and train for 3 hours like 5 or 6 days a week. And it was I was actually with Sia Pallister at the time, and I was like, Pam Pax is coming up, I got to prepare. I was like, oh, what do I do to prepare? I'm training 6 days a week. I guess I'll just train 7 days a week. And within 2 weeks, like my knees barely worked. I could barely stand up straight. And then my back like actually went. And it was one of those things where I would go to work and it would take me 3 days to like recover so I could like move my back again properly. So yeah, it was pretty bad. To be honest, it probably didn't need to take 3 years off. It was just, I didn't do the work I should have done. Didn't really know what work I was supposed to do. Like I would go and see physios and they'd be just like, just plank. Just like, I'll give you a massage and then just go and plank for like 10 minutes. Like not 10 minutes, like for like, like 3 times a week or something. I'd plank and do nothing. Then when I got down here, I actually found someone who helped me, got my back in shape, and then it was straight back into jiu-jitsu. I was like, yeah, here we go. So.
Classic thing, isn't it, mate? Like when you get some information from somebody and you're like, yeah, well, physios don't really work. But when you see the right physio that does, that specializes in that area, and you're like, oh man, if these people would, if I'd only got in touch with this guy faster or sooner or whatever it might be, and it's the same with the jiu-jitsu knowledge too, you're like, oh, shit, if I didn't need to go through all that stuff that my white belt trialing staff and, like, why didn't I just get shown that at the start? It's interesting, eh?
Yeah, but it was a bit like that. Like the physio I've got at the moment, I've got a couple guys, like basically a masseur. He's not really a masseur. He's like a myotherapist, but he's really good at like getting space in a joint. He's not, he uses massage, but I guess if you had a muscle, your muscles were sore, he wouldn't be that good at it. But like if you've got a short shoulder, he'll get it moving again. My physio's name, I swear, like the physio I got at the moment is like, well, as long as he's in business, I'll see him. He's just like a voodoo magician. It's crazy, like how much mobility that guy can get out of an injured joint. Like, so, and that's what you need, like a proper physio. It was like 95% of them, like, people go see physios. My physio's down in town, but I'll travel down in town, no worries, because he'll fix me. It's up here, you go and see physio, and it's like just nothing. Like they're achieving nothing. So it'll be like, oh, yeah, just rest it. It's like, no, that's what are you talking about? No, you fix it. Like, come on, man. Like, you fix it. Tell me what to do, and I'll go on fix.
We have one that our coach tells us to go to, and I won't say his name because he's really hard to get into for one, right? But he fixes people and he gets them back on the mat so quickly.
Yeah.
And if he gets time, he creates a program for you and then sends it through to you. It's a really, really good program. But he's really hard to get into.
I'm seeing him. Yeah,
he's really hard to get a program out of.
Yeah, he's definitely a magician. And Alex, how did you connect with Tiago Stefanuti then? So you've been in Adelaide. I don't know, why did I think that you previously trained in Melbourne as well?
No, everyone thinks that because I was with Absolute. But I just used to drop in. Like, after Tiago became my coach, I used to just go to Melbourne and train for a bit, like, whenever I could, right? One of my problems being up in the Adelaide Hills and starting my own club was, like, I'm like this purple belt training with, like, you know, white belts who have been training for 2 weeks or something. And it's like, oh, how am I going to be competitively good? So I'd go down and train in Adelaide, train in Melbourne when I could. But that was Craig Jones. So Matt Jones gave me my purple belt, and this was before Craig and that went to Melbourne and moved to Absolute. But I remember Craig got his... so I was injured during that time. I wasn't training. And then when I started the club up again, Craig had just got his black belt, and I was like, I need a coach. So I called Craig, and I was like... Craig's got a black belt, right? Called Craig, and I was just like, oh, man, like, I need a coach. And he was just like, oh, I'll ask Lockie Giles, but, like, Tiago will do it. Like, Tiago's, like, a great coach. And so Craig put me in touch with Tiago, and Tiago was just like, tell me about yourself. Like, what's up? I just told him how it was. It's like, started my own jiu-jitsu club, but I need a coach. Like, I have to learn jiu-jitsu somewhere. Tiago was just like, yeah, man, like, you know, told him a bit of background, you know, how I used to compete, how I do jiu-jitsu, and he was just like, yeah, let's do it. I want to help you out. And that was it. Like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it ended up being really good. Like, Tiago's Tiago's a really good coach anyway, but, like, probably worked out the best it could for me. It was like, he ended up being a really good coach for me just personally, so, yeah.
That's how it works, given that most of your training time was with beginners, not just from a competitive point of view, but just in general. How did you keep developing your jiu-jitsu, especially when you had a coach who was kind of coaching you remotely?
Just watching heaps of jiu-jitsu and just, like, really watching, sort of just trying to break down in a jiu-jitsu of, like, you know, watch the best guys in the world and then just sort of try and think about, like, oh, what is working, what is not working in these matches in general, like, really, like, general, like, oh, every time people do that, they never seem to win. You know, it always goes badly for them. Maybe not at the time, but even if it's just, like, trying to recognize that, oh, when you go for this move, like, it looks great now, but in 30 seconds' time, you're going to be in a really hard battle, things like this, and just being around jiu-jitsu, like watching jiu-jitsu. When we went to compete, I'd spend, I just do my competitions, my purple belt divs and the super absolute when they started. But because I was coaching white belts, I'd, like, basically watch all the white belts and just be like, oh, what are they up to? Then I go and watch the black belts. Oh, how are they rolling? Why are they rolling? Try and think about, like, why are they rolling like that? So, yeah, just thinking about jiu-jitsu, really. Same thing, asking people as well. What's that?
Just being a student of the game, it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure, right? Just learning wherever I can and, like, you know, I'm even like, sometimes you'll be doing something and I'll just be like, someone will get off the mats and I'll just be like, why did you do it like that? Like, what was that thing you just did? And I'll be like, oh, come over to warm-up mats and I'll show you. It's like, oh, yeah, cool. All right, let's do it. And then just, some of it you like, some of it you don't like. Sometimes you just come across gold. Like, you're just like, oh, dude, like, yeah, that's way better than what I do. So
It's funny how many people get like ideas from like TikTok or Instagram, right? Like we kind of take the piss out of it a fair bit,
yeah,
but a lot of there's actually some really good stuff. Like I know Daniel Schlatt put some really good stuff up, but I've seen little clips and I'm like, I wonder if that would work. Like I had a sweep that I was using and I just hit it over and over and I'm like, people are like, where'd you get this? I'm like, TikTok. And it was legit, So it's
yeah,
funny what you can actually pick up when you are just watching and learning and,
yeah,
grabbing people and rolling on the other side of the mat too.
yeah. It was funny when I started. I mean, there's a lot out there now, but when I started, it was just like, if you went on YouTube to watch YouTube, it was just like, world champions, everyone,
Yeah.
Dean Lister is doing stuff and like Robert Drysdale and like, it was just like, back then it was like, if you were watching jiu-jitsu on YouTube, it was probably from someone who was pretty good. And now, same thing, like there's heaps of good jiu-jitsu out there, but I feel like there's a bunch of stuff where I'm just like, it goes both ways, right? Sometimes people come in and you're just like, what is that? Like, Will Wesley, I gave him his brown belt. He's at Dominance now, actually, but in Melbourne, he came back with this sort of like inverted grip arm triangle. And I was just like, what? Why are you doing that? Just seems dumb. Like, and then like we were talking about I tried it for a couple of weeks and now it's just pretty much all I do. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll just use that forever. Now it's just like, and he got it off a white belt. He got it off some white belt doing it at another club and I was just like, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, Alex, about suppose your journey so shows the evolution of jiu-jitsu in Australia. Like when you started, maybe it was also because it was back in Darwin, there wasn't a much jiu-jitsu at all around. Like you started with almost a couple of other white belts and, a purple belt was the one that was teaching you. And now we're at the point where you've almost got to sift through all the shit that you see online to be able to take out
Yeah.
what's the actual relevant stuff or the stuff that does actually work.
Yeah. Not even that, even instructionals and stuff. Like, there's a bunch of lads, lots of my blue belts, because my highest belt, I have one purple belt. Well, that's going to change in December in grading, but and Will was our only brown belt till he moved to Melbourne. But a lot of the blue belts will like watch instructionals and stuff, and they'll be doing stuff off of instructionals. It's like, I'll look at it and I'm just like, that just does not seem like the best thing you could do here, right? And they're like, oh, it's on a Gordon Ryan DVD, and I'm like, I've never seen Gordon do that in competition. You know what I mean? Like, I have seen him do, this is what he does in that position in, something like this, or Craig just does crazy stuff, so,
Yeah.
But, yeah, that sort of thing of, like, even instructionals, you sort of have to sift through them a bit and make sure, like, is this guy actually doing that competitively? Like, when he goes out and does it for real, is that his favourite thing to do? Or?
Yeah, I think that's the difference, isn't it? Like making sure that when you look at things, sorry, Kim, I think I was talking over you, mate. Yeah, like looking at black belt matches and seeing what works in a black belt match compared to looking at a TikTok reel and going, oh, that looks like fun, like there really is a difference. And I think for me, with my training currently, and it's something that my coach talks to me about, it's like you've really got to look at what's working at the black belt level and concentrate on, don't just train at your level, train for the next level up, like we do that in anything that we're trying to achieve, like if you're learning to play guitar, we'll try and play it better than what you're actually doing. Like look at the good guys and copy them or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of that with like, we've got a lad who's quite a good ankle locker, and he has been for a while, but here in, not in all of Adelaide, but there was this little bit of a sentiment of like ankle locks don't work. And man, like he's broken a lot of ankles because of that. Like people will come visit and just be like, ankle locks don't work on me. And it's just unfortunate. They won't tap, and then it pops, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry," but it's one of those things. And then I'm talking to him after. There was a lad who visited, and I was talking to him after, and I was like, "Oh, who is ankle locking you?" And he's like, "Oh, like same sort of thing as me." And he's like, "Oh, I teach a bunch of white belts, and I've got a couple of blue belts." And I was like, "Do you teach many ankle locks?" And he's like, "No, not really." And I'm like, that's probably why they're not ankle locking. It's probably like less that ankle locks don't work and more that you just don't happen to have anyone who's really good at it. Because that was the same with like, this lad, Vinny, his name is just like super annoying to roll with because of it. But he used to try and ankle lock me, and I'd just be like, he'd be like, "I can never get you with the ankle lock. I always feel like I have it. I can never get you." Well, probably the worst decision I ever made. I spent like an hour or an hour and a half with him just talking about ankle locks and like how to make his finishing mechanics a bit better. And it's just like, oh, okay, this guy can't touch my ankles anymore, or he'll be tapping me out.
Tell us a bit about the scene in South Australia. So you said you're in the Adelaide Hills, so not quite in Adelaide. There is certainly a big jiu-jitsu scene there, and it really seems to be growing, especially recently. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited at the moment for jiu-jitsu in South Australia. I mean, it's always been good. We've always had like pretty high-level guys, right, coming out of South Australia. At the moment, the competitive scene is like not very busy. I think they're really struggling to get people to sign up in South Australia. Not sure why. Like even our gym, we don't get that many sign-ups each time. Like, but yeah, we've got Anton Minenko's back in South Australia, so he started a gym. That's going to be super cool. There's a lad named Michael Heliotis, who's from Aruda. He's starting Atlas Jiu-Jitsu, so that's going to be cool. Like he's a really good coach. So he's starting his own thing as well, and I just think the scene's getting busy and good. I feel like there's going to be a few guys to watch out for coming out of South Australia in the next now, but also the next 2 to 5 years. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool to see. Yeah.
Just enough time for the competition scene to kind of catch up with the level. What
Sorry,
it sounds
you
like
broke
the
up a
levels
little bit.
Sorry. The level sounds like the level's already there, but maybe it's just going to take a while for the comp scene to kind of catch up. But it doesn't sound like it's far away.
No, yeah, I think so. Like, we've just got, there are a few lads you see around, and it's just like, oh, this guy's going to be competitively really good, I mean, there was Craig, he came out of South Australia. Declan's the more recent one, and he's just like looking super unstoppable, but, they just pop up every now and then. Yeah, it's really
I mean, like even on the super fight thing, like the three competitors from MATLAB just went up and competed over the weekend, and like they won all of their matches. One of the things I really liked to hear you say then, Alex, was like, Anton's opening a gym, and then this other guy's opening a gym, and you were like, this is going to be awesome, not like, oh, shit, they're taking away. It's like the competition scene and there are loads of people still yet to try jiu-jitsu, so it's not like, there's only enough room in Adelaide for 6 gyms, It's like, no, there's more, and we can get more people into it, and the better the scene is, the better the scene becomes. Like, it's really cool to hear that sort of attitude, Alex.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not in Adelaide, but even like that's actually what I think about jiu-jitsu. It's like, people were like, oh, what if someone opened up a jiu-jitsu gym up in Mount Barker where you are? And I'm like, I think it'd be awesome. I think you know what I mean. Just more jiu-jitsu. I guess it depends. Like, I trust my jiu-jitsu and my coaching. And I think if people left for another gym, like I would just have to look at what I'm doing and how can I do it better. At the start, when I started teaching, that was big for me. I was like, every time someone would leave, I was like, I'm fucking up the classes. What am I doing wrong? Like something's catastrophically wrong. And I'd make classes better somehow. And then a year later, they'd come back and they'd be like, oh, yeah, I really used to love it. But just family and stuff. And I'd be like, oh, it wasn't like when he said, oh, I've got family stuff on, I'm too busy, I can't train. He actually meant it. He didn't mean like your jiu-jitsu and your coaching's terrible. I was like, oh.
Was me like
yeah, right. It was just one of those things where like slowly learn. Well, I guess it was like if you have 6 students and one leaves, like that's a huge portion of the club. Whereas like now I'm a little bit more confident of like, oh, we've been growing the whole time. More people are always coming in. Some people leave, but like just as many people come back. Like, that the chances they're going to walk back through the door are like super high. Like now I've just realised that it just took a year or two before people had a chance to actually walk back in and me realise, they'll probably be back. Right? Yeah. Or if they're not back here, they're like maybe they've moved to Melbourne and they are still back at jiu-jitsu somewhere else, just still training.
So thank you so much for giving up your time. We're nearly out of time, and we just do a little bit of a pop quiz at the end. Brentos has just got a couple of questions. You can make these as short or as long as you want them to be. So,
yeah, sure.
iPhone or Samsung?
I have a Google Pixel.
Mate, you're only the second person to say that. That's awesome.
Do you love it? Is it good? It was Samsung. It was iPhone, then it was Samsung, and then I was like, can't remember. Something happened with that Samsung, and I was just like, I'll try this Google Pixel, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It's good.
That's awesome. There you go. Maybe we need to try one of those ones. Strength or flexibility?
Do I have to choose? I don't do much stretching, but I like doing strength for flexibility. Like I like doing range of motion strength exercises.
Yeah, see, strength for flexibility. There you go. That's winning. Pasta or rice?
Oh, rice, I reckon. Oh man, nah, pasta. Oh, my partner is gluten-free, so like I'm sort of trained for rice at the moment, but I love pasta.
Yeah, sneaky pasta when you can. What's the favourite belt that you've been at?
My favourite belt? Jeez, that's a hard one.
Mate, we ask some tough questions on this podcast. People don't realise we ask some tough ones.
These answers, Alex. Thank you. It's really appreciated.
I want to say black. It'd either be black or blue. One of those two.
Why do you say the blue? Because for many people, that they consider that almost the worst belt, the one that they struggle at the most. You didn't find that?
Yeah. I struggled, but like that's jiu-jitsu, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, yeah. That's when I was competing a lot. When I was like athletic and physically like in condition, and I was competing like a fair bit at the time. Before my back injury, right? And I was just, it was good. After my back injury, my jiu-jitsu changed a lot. So like way less athletic, like a little bit heavier. That was when I was like, cartwheel passing and shit like that. Just like making shit up on the fly. Yeah, that's it, right?
A couple more, mate. Gi or no gi? What's your favourite?
This is a weird one. Diego had a go at me for it. It's like I we don't do gi classes. The kids do gi classes, but adults don't have any. I just can't get a class going. But my favourite is gi.
There you go. That's
That
interesting.
must be a South Australia thing, yeah, because there's quite a few no-gi clubs there in Adelaide as well. So, yeah.
It's like there are some clubs that make gi classes work, but I tried for ages, and our gi classes would be like 2 people, like 2 to 4 people, and then like the 2 who always rocked up moved away, and I was like, oh, now I'm often rocking up to like no one or 1 or 2 people, and I was like, I changed it to a wrestling class. Our last gi class, I was like, we'll see how this goes, wrestling, and like 9 people turned up on the first night. It was wrestling. I was like, come on, man, like can't have a gi. We are going to do gi. Yeah, right.
South Australian influence, mate.
Yeah, Tiago taught me into doing, which I think is a good idea, like doing a gi class like once a month. We're going to do it at, at least I get to train in the gi bit then.
Yeah. Guard pull or takedown?
What's that, sorry?
Guard pull or takedown?
Takedown. I'm probably pulling guard. But I like takedowns. I like wrestling.
We've got a 300th episode coming up, and it's a special guest, so I don't think I can say who it is, but it's a person who you would least expect to say guard pull, but they say guard pull. So it's quite funny.
Yeah.
All right, mate. I've got 2 more for you. These will define you as a jiu-jitsu black belt, as a person, probably as well.
Oh, I'm about to get
first one. Yeah. Can you drive a manual car?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Mate, there you go. That's one. And do you wear Crocs?
No, I don't wear Crocs. They're sort of close though. What are they called? They're called Archies. So they're like,
they're not Crocs.
they're not Crocs. I'm not allowed to wear
You
Crocs.
passed.
Partner won't let me. Taylor won't let me.
It's good. We can release this episode, Tim. We can release it.
Yeah, it's safe. It's safe. Very good. So, as I said, thank you again, Alex, for giving up your time. If people are not just in Adelaide, but in the Adelaide Hills, get yourself to Toa Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You don't even need to bring a gi. You can just go along and train there. It sounds like it's a great academy. Like I said, it's been really good to get to know you, Alex. I wasn't aware that we had such similarities. We both got our black belt from Tiago. Both started at Peter
Yeah, right.
And it's really good to get to know you a bit more. And if you're ever down in Melbourne, hopefully we'll cross paths again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to do the wrap up?
Thanks for having me.
Alex, for jumping on.
Brentos. Cheers.
Yeah. Mate, thank you for jumping on. Just remember, guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Roll or Die. Big shout out to our sponsors, Athletic Body Care. So we've still got some stuff that we can send out if you would like that. And please remember to like, rate, and share the podcast. That sort of keeps us going, keeps us out there, and lets us get awesome people like Alex coming on, so we can hear some backstories and some cool stories from origins of jiu-jitsu in Australia, and meeting cool people. So thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. We certainly did, and we will catch you next week on another episode of Roll or Die. Peace out.
Cheers. Bye.